Hey guys.
Alright folks, we're here to check out the video that won the Patreon poll of the week, Nervosa with Seed of Death. This is one of the songs from their upcoming new album. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Alright, let's check this out.
New creation. I won't forget the ones who stay at my side. Rising fire will never die. If the beginning of life is the end of the end, I'm going to hate. It's up to the sky, and I follow the trail. I stand on my ground, the seed of death. We'll never die. We'll never die. We'll never die.
Dude, I honestly don't know how you feel about it, but this is one of the best Nervosa songs I've heard in a fucking long time.
I think so too. Honestly.
Honestly.
This is like Nervosa has always been a band where I can get behind certain songs, but then there's some songs that I can't really get behind. I was saying before we even started recording that I have the last album on my phone, and there's this one song that I don't even let it past the
Perpetual Chaos. It's the name of the album.
Yeah, but there's just one song I don't even let it past the 2-second mark because it starts off with a scream, but the scream is like someone just stabbed her in the lung, and you can hear
well, it was Diva Satanic on that record, so maybe she stepped on the Lego or something.
Yeah, and honestly, it's such.
I'll ask her next time I see her.
It's such a sphincter like rotting scream that, like, to be honest, I can't. Even if the song is good after that, I don't even want to hear it because it turns me off completely. That first part.
Okay, but
there's certain songs that I can't really get.
But now this is a new lineup from that. I mean, that record was a new lineup from the previous album, and now this one is a new lineup from that lineup.
I feel like we're going to different World Cups. Like,
I feel like Nervosa is becoming Paris Saint-Germain. Every season they have a fucking new lineup.
I was gonna say they're international teams where they there's some new players here and there, but there's
Yeah, Prika's still there. I mean, she's the only original member from the beginning all the way now. So, she's...
Yeah, it's like Lloris in the French team. But then now there's, like, different players there, right?
Didn't he retire?
Did he retire?
I think he retired, so you can't even say that anymore.
Oh, fuck.
He retired from international duty.
Shit.
Fuck, you can't even say that anymore.
You can't save penalties for shit.
Nah, he was like Luizão at Benfica when Benfica was going through that slump of the 2000s. Everybody else moved around, but he stayed along for the ride. Like, yeah. And he got a job now with the club, so there you go.
I mean, you're right with the whole Paris Saint-Germain thing. Like, there's a couple guys that have been there for a while, but then they're getting
a while is like 4 years.
Okay, but like Marquinhos, for example.
He's probably the longest.
He's been there the longest.
He's probably the longest.
He's been there the longest.
Everybody else changes. Now Neymar is leaving and Mbappe is leaving. It's like a whole new, like, fucking...
It's a new...
They turn players over like it's nobody's business.
True. Even Verratti's leaving, and he's been there for a long time too.
Yeah.
So like that's what I kind of see this band as too. They're kind of like they're Paris Saint-Germain. They every so often,
every couple of seasons they turn over their lineup. So anyhow,
this lineup is really good. This is the lineup with Gonçalo Ramos at striker and Ousmane Dembele at right wing. This is the lineup I'm looking at. I'm like, ooh, I want to watch.
As long as he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, I want to watch this team play.
A couple of interesting notes here for those that are less familiar with the band. Prik has always played guitars for the band, but this is the first time that she's taken on the duties of vocalist. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great move because think about this: if you're constant and I know that's not her hope or intention to keep changing the lineup around. She's kind of putting in a situation where people leave the band for whatever reasons, and we're not going to get into that because, first of all, it's none of my business, and I don't know the facts, and even if I did know, I'm not going to share with you guys what the facts are because, once again, it's not my business. Mm-hmm. So, therefore, I think she's doing the right move here, which is like finding a lead singer that then can sing all of the previous repertoire becomes harder and harder as you progress.
Well, yeah, because then you keep having the lead singer leave. But if you're someone who will stay with the band... Which is her case. I think it's a perfect idea to become the lead singer.
Yeah, that way you solve that problem.
You solve that problem even if people leave in the future.
Yeah.
Now you won't have to go through the grueling process of, okay, now I got to teach her how to do these songs and this song.
No, and you have to find somebody who vocally can match some of the other tracks, but then you're always handcuffed to whoever that singer is going to be, and then if they leave, you're back to square zero.
You got to do that exact same.
So at least if you take the ownership of being the vocalist, I know she posted online that she didn't want to do this, but she sees this as the only solution for the band to have some more stability and consistency. I totally agree with it. I think she should have done that actually at the previous record when they had to change the lineup. But I think it was something that she was really not comfortable doing, and she was avoiding it like the plague.
Well, yeah, it's I was gonna say it's procrastination of the inevitable, right? Like, it's something that you know in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm gonna have to do this, but I'm gonna prolong it as much as possible, and then it's the night before it's due, and you're like, fuck it. Gotta do it.
We just gotta do it. So I think this, and by the way, her vocals were really good.
Very good, yes.
Her vocals were really good, so I have no complaints there on that front. Now, the other thing that I have to say, I honestly hope the band finds some stability with this lineup, and they kind of stick together for more than just one record, because it becomes an issue for the image of the band that if you go through the next 3 records or 4 records and every single record has a complete change in lineup, unless then you take the approach that the band is me, almost like Ghost. The band is Prika, and then everybody else is just kind of like filling in to do whatever she can do in order for the music to be out there. I don't think that's the approach that she wants to go forward with. I think she wants to have a band.
The Yachty.
Yeah, so let's just hope that these girls can stick together for more than just one record.
What the fuck does that mean? I feel like every record is like, take 3 out, 3 in.
No, but once again, it's not like it's necessally her choice.
No, of course not. But it's also like, what the fuck? Like,
it doesn't send a good message. That's also
no. It also doesn't bring in a lot of people because it's like, okay, if I go play for that band, there's a reason why
people keep leaving. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So it doesn't put a good stigma on the band.
No.
So to have this stability of her on vocals, maybe it'll be something that this lineup will do another record instead of having a lineup change again.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The only time will tell.
But to be honest, I'm just looking forward to more of this because
this lineup is good.
This lineup is really good. Like,
this lineup is good.
I really enjoyed this song.
This lineup is good.
I really enjoyed this song. Like I said, Nervosa has always been a band where I've enjoyed some songs, I've not liked some songs, and they've always been.
The new guitar player, by the way. The new guitar player, she's good.
Really, yeah.
I don't know where she came from, what band that she was plucked out of, or what she was doing until she decided to join, or she was asked to join this band. That was really good, and I feel like the 2 guitar players fits the Nervosa sound a lot better.
Yeah,
it gives more consistency to the sound. And I know in the studio you can record your guitars 1,000 times.
But live, you're always gonna miss that little thing.
Exactly.
And you never want people to feel like they're missing out on an experience.
People asked me the other day. I went to see Sepultura, right? And people asked me how was the show, and I said I enjoyed the show. But if you're a Sepultura fan, if you're a diehard Sepultura fan, when you go to see them live, I honestly to God, it felt like the guitars were mono. Because there's one guitar missing. It feels like I'm only hearing the guitars on one ear.
Because you've heard the song with
2 guitar
players. Yeah.
And now you're listening to the song live. At least they're not pumping backing tracks. At least they're not doing that.
True.
But to me, there's things that you can do. You can have a second guitar player coming in to do the tours, which I'm sure Sepultura doesn't want to do that because this is the Sepultura lineup, and that takes away from the charisma of the Sepultura lineup. So I get that. The other thing you can do is you can make the bass sound a little bit higher when you're mixing the live sound, and allow the bass to fill in with the riff sound when the rhythm sound when the guitar, for example, is doing a solo. So at least the gap is not as impactful, is not as noticeable. You can have the guitars almost back in as a second, the bass I should say, sorry, back in as a secondary guitar to kind of fill in that gap, so that the bass is not just doing the bass thing and the guitar is doing a solo and there's no rhythm guitar behind it. It just felt so empty, felt like I was listening to it on mono. So still enjoyed the show, but it's really an issue. It's the more hardcore fans of the band, the ones that have been there from the beginning, I think those will notice it more. Now, those are perhaps also the ones willing to turn a blind eye to it because, hey, it's Sepultura. To me, if I'm listening to Roots Bloody Roots, I want to listen to fucking Roots Bloody Roots, not Roots Bloody Roots on mono.
Bloots Ruddy
Bloots Ruddy Bloots. Anyways, so just to take from that essence to this, I think now having this second guitar player is definitely going to give them a little bit more substance on the sound.
Yeah,
and this song shows it. And the solo was outstanding too.
Yeah.
So I feel like with this lineup, you have more pieces in the right place perhaps than the previous lineup. And I'm not saying that the previous lineup didn't have quality. The previous lineup felt to me more like a super group, because you have great band members that came from other bands or that have other bands where they're also key figures in those bands. They have deep resumes and they're still active. Like Mia Wallace, for example, she plays bass for Abath, and she was in Nervosa. So it feels more like a super group where you have these personalities coming in to record a record. This lineup to me gives me the essence more of a band, not necessarily a super group, and I think that's going to do better in general for what you're going to get as the output. and you're putting more pieces in the right place. Having a guitar player, like that solo was really good. So allowing Prika to perhaps concentrate more on the rhythm section and allow the other guitar player to take more of the lead, also singing, because now you're singing like, you can't do everything. You got to spread the wealth around. I think this move is really intelligent, and I think it's going to do wonders for what Nervosa's sound is going to be, not just on this record, but going forward.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I agree with you fully on that.
All right. That was a great solo, by the way.
It was a good song.
Great song. And I love the intro of them just walking, and then outdoors, and I loved everything about it. I loved every fucking thing about it. So... but more thrashy too. Yeah. Very thrashy sound. So I really enjoy that. Not like some of their songs sometimes have a little bit more of a death metal flavor to it. Like same thing, another band from Brazil. If you look at Sepultura, the first couple of records, to me, they always felt more like death metal albums than they felt like thrash metal albums.
Very thrashy.
But this is very thrashy. I love this. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hit us up in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts on the new lineup, and we'll see you all at the next one.
See ya.